Hi, I'm Gary, welcome to my channel and welcome back if you've been here before. Today I'm looking at the 2004 ZiL-131 truck and trailer set in 1/72nd scale from ICM. This set combines a new tooled trailer with the ZiL-131 truck, first made by Omega K in the late 1990s and subsequently updated by ICM. If you enjoy the show, please remember the best way to support the channel for free is to subscribe. Hit the bell and you'll be notified of all my future material as it's published, and don't forget to hit the like button. Let's make a start. So here's the box of the ZiL-131 with the trailer, Armed Forces of Ukraine. It is made by ICM and is 1/72nd scale. The product code is 72817, and proudly pointing out these are made in Ukraine during the war. On the side of the box here, you get a repeat of the logo, the scale, and the product code, some information about ICM itself, a QR code link to the website, and here a brief description of the kit. It is 186 millimeters long, 44 millimeters high. The box contains 106 parts for the truck and 43 for the trailer, and as it says, it's an unassembled kit. You need cement and paint to finish it, which are not included. On the other long side, again, reprise of the basic information and the two schemes that are suggested from Armed Forces of Ukraine, the earlier and slightly later versions of the digital camouflage. And early digital camouflage is more coloured than the later version here, and it says it's for adult collectors age 14 and over. That's because there are some very small parts in here. The short side of the box, as usual, on one end it has in landscape form, the company code and scale here, and reprise of the box art. At the other end, indeed, it is in portrait form. In case the box is standing thus on a shelf, it can still be read easily, which is a nice touch, I think. So there we go, nice glossy box. Nice bit of artwork on the front. Let's see what's inside the box. Even a small box like this comes with a full gloss colour outer, which lifts up to reveal inside a nice sturdy cardboard box with a top loading lid that makes all the parts in here easy to protect in shipping. There are two plastic bags in here, one for the truck, one for the trailer. There's the instruction sheets, again one for the truck and one for the trailer, and in here there are some decals as well, largely decals for the digital camouflage, but a few others as well. We'll have a look at all these bits and pieces in a bit more detail. This is frame A. As you can see, it's the chassis of the truck, it's the bottom of the engine, parts of the suspension and things like that. Frame B, some of the ancillary parts, bits of exhaust, transmission, the instrument panel, lights, covers here, steering wheel, and these are fuel tanks. There are two frames D. These have, as you can see, all the wheels we need. Technically, this is frame F, which is essentially the flatbed of the truck and a few other bits and pieces. I think maybe exhaust there. And this is frame G with a few other bits and pieces, filters, access ladders, things like that. Oh, and a shovel. Separately, we have a moulding for the whole of the cab in one piece, and the bottom of the cab in another piece. These essentially will just go together like so once everything else has been put inside. And similarly, there's a single piece for the top of the flatbed, the rear cargo compartment on the flatbed. Then there are two frames of transparent parts. The first is for the cab. The driver's cab includes the small headlamp inserts here. And the second is for the back of the truck on top of the flatbed, the cabin on top of the flatbed. The Parts of the plastic for the truck, the ZiL-131, are beginning to show their age, really, aren't they? I mean, there's quite a few seams on here. Now, I'm a big believer in flash rather than short shot, but there's quite a lot of seam action going on here. This is because this is presumably a multi-slide mold, so you have a piece that goes in here, and then maybe pieces that clamp this way, hence this one. And then also you've probably got a slide going in this way to allow you to mold this overhang, which gives you a seam here, and the same at the other end, a seam here. It means you don't have to make this part in like 3 or 4 pieces, but it does mean there's quite a few seams on it. But you know what? I can probably clean them up. It's not the end of the world, but it does show you how old this mold is beginning to look. And it's the same on the cab, where things are a little bit more tricky sometimes to clean up. You know, this mold line here is annoying, and it just goes across here and down here. In fact, I'm not sure if that even is. Yeah, it is completely out. That's fine. You can see there's a nice undercut here under the bonnet, which is quite cool. Seam lines here as well. Then on the other side, nice big dose of flash around this window frame part here. Oh, this just needs sort of trimming a little bit. There's not too much because, of course, this is a welded lid, so there is a seam weld along here, so that just needs to be tidied. That obviously needs to come off, and then these joints here need to be sorted out, but not the end of the world. Just tidy that up a bit. But the molds are beginning to look quite tired. Again, on some of the smaller parts, there's significant bits of flash that will need to be cleaned out. But you know, the moldings are complete, at least, even if they're a bit flash prone. Again, more around here. And with some of the really small parts, they're not too bad, but if you look at the back, look at the size of those feeds. They are absolutely enormous for these parts. You would never ever do it like that now. Never ever do it. That much feed for that little amount of plastic just wouldn't happen. But it's all there, and can all be taken off and sanded down and made into something nice. The parts for the towed trailer come on one single frame, as you can see here. The only other frame that comes here is a transparent one with the windows for the trailer. And looking closer at the mouldings, you can see this is very much a more modern style of moulding, much smaller, much thinner gates to all the plastic. All the plastic looks smart, clean. A bit of a mould line there on the chassis, but that will sand out easily enough. Here on the main springs, you can see very delicate connections, unlike the huge slabs we had before. And here on the tyres, you can see the feeds are undercut, so rather than feeding into the actual side of the part, they feed essentially onto the back of the part, which should make it easier to keep the part clean, so we don't have to sand down any detail when we put the two together. That's the theory anyway. Generally speaking, I always find I have to. But all of the parts are much tidier, much neater, and much cleaner because they're a much more modern mold. And I think not only are they newer production molds, but they were produced with technologies that allowed better design of the plastic parts and better design of the flow of the plastic parts inside the model. The decal sheet is simple enough, really just a lot of options on the serial numbers and number plates, markings to the Ukrainian armed forces, and hazard markings here as well. Always quite amuses me that they have hazard markings on things in the army because they're supposed to carry things that go bang, but Hey, there we go. In peacetime, at least you're going to want to warn people away from them. And then there's lots and lots of these little patches of digital camouflage markings. Here we can see that the quality of printing is pretty good compared with this 0.5mm pencil lead. The symbols, I'm guessing they should be a bit clearer than that, but you know what? 70-second scale, they'll probably be fine. And here's some more sort of warning signs. Armed Forces of Ukraine logo there, as I say. And then the various digital sort of spots, if you like. These are all 4-color printed. Obviously, you could say, well, if this were cartograph, these will be individual screen colors. Yes, they would, but they'll probably cost about 5 times as much to produce. So, you pay your money, you take your choice, I'm afraid. But I don't think they're going to, the dots on the print are very fine, so I don't think it necessarily makes much difference. It might just make them not quite as crisp, but of course you could. What you could actually do is just trim them really, really tightly, and then the edges will be absolutely pin sharp. But normally I'd like them to be a bit sharper than that, but that is just a function of 4-color print, I'm afraid. The instruction sheet is here. It's quite thin, not much to it. There's a reprise of the box art in color. There's a reminder of the product, ZiL-131, 1/72 scale, and it's model kit number 72818, which is part of 72817, which is the actual whole kit. This 72818 refers to just this ZiL in this color scheme with these various options at the top. Here we have a brief description of the ZiL-131 and some technical specs in Ukrainian and in English. Here we have the color callouts. All of these are in ICM colors. Now, you do get in the book box this information sheet about ICM paints, the paint sets that are available, primers, and the color range. What is really useful is that on the back here, there's a QR code that goes to an equivalence table for other manufacturers, so that could be very useful if you're not using ICM paints directly. If you are, then here are the numbers. Fairly straightforward, to be perfectly honest. These are the symbols and what they mean, and there's a QR link to the ICM website. Inside we have frame maps, such as they are, and then steps in the construction. As you can see, not many steps to build this vehicle, really not too much, and it's fairly straightforward to see what goes where. These haven't got absolute locating pins, and these are options, so it just sort of goes on where you can fit it on, really. Then on the back are the schemes, essentially all over green, and with the digital camouflage pieces on top. And there's also a sheet of instructions separately for the trailer. It's a 2PN to M trailer with the KP4 box body, being very specific here. 1/72 scale, model kit 72819. If it's sold separately, it's part of the kit 72817, which is what we have today. Again, very quick little description here in Ukrainian and in English, and some technical specifications. Some colors call outs here, essentially 4BO green, black, and rubber black for the tires. Quick check on what all the icons mean, and then inside a frame map and the instructions. These instructions seem to be a little bit more comprehensive, but then this is a much later kit, so I think they were drawn with a bit more eye to modern design than previously. But very, very straightforward thing. And again, on the back, the 2 color schemes. The earlier scheme with the multicolour digital markings, and then the more muted digital markings from 2001 onwards. So that's the other instruction leaflet. There it is then. Hope you enjoyed that look inside the box. If you did, don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell for notifications of new releases, and don't forget the imperial thumbs up on the like button. Thank you so much for watching. Take good care now, and goodbye.